right, welcome back, everybody, to American Sunrise. I'm Dr. Gina. We thank you for joining us this sunrise. It is time now for today's health news, sponsored by the Wellness Company. And under the microscope today, left-wing extremism linked to psychopathy and narcissism. A bombshell study revealed that left-wing extremists, the same crowd of radical activists who riot, shut down speech, set things on fire, attack police, all the rest, are linked to dark personality traits, some in the Dark Tetrad, if you're familiar, like narcissism and psychopathy. This according to a study published in the peer-reviewed journal called Current Psychology. Researchers surveyed hundreds of Americans, found that for violence against traditional institutions was not driven by altruism or justice, but actually by egotism, anger, and personal gain. While the media often smears conservatives as selfish, narcissistic, or authoritarian, this study confirms that much of the violence actually comes from the radical left, hiding behind the language of social justice to push their own power and control. It remains to be seen if the alleged assassin of Charlie Kirk fits into this category, but doesn't take a rocket scientist, let's just say that. New administration in Washington, D.C. has brought a lot of positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system, but there's only so much government can do. If we really want to make America healthy again, it's going to start at home with each of us, and that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from their doctors all the time on this network. You know their products are the gold standard for keeping your family safe and healthy. Through the Wellness Company, you can be sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their series of medical prescription kits. These kits have an assortment of life-saving medications and guidebooks to assist in the use of the meds in the kit. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss assist and so much more. These can help you stay healthy and live a longer and more satisfying life. Make America Healthy Again starts at home. Do your part. Protect the health of yourself and your family. Go to twc.health/RAV today. Give it an order. That's twc.health/RAV. Use the promo code RAV. That'll save you 10%. Joining us now from the Wellness Company is one of our favorites, Dr. Kelly Victory. She's Chief of Disaster and Emergency Medicine for the Wellness Company. Welcome to the show, Dr. Victory. Victory, I don't know why I can't say your name today. This has been a rough couple of days. Maybe that's why, because I think we're all a little sleep deprived. All of us still reeling from the assassination of Charlie Kirk. During the pandemic, Charlie was one of those, I remember with very few others, many on RAV, who were brave enough to have dissenting doctors on our shows to talk about early treatment of COVID and the dangers of the vaccine. It's good that we had his voice in this, and it's hard to measure what impact it had, but tell us what it means to you that Charlie and others were taking the lead, asking questions that our medical community wasn't asking on the by and large.
Well, thanks for having me. As always, Gina, like all of you, I am deeply saddened by the tragic loss of Charlie Kirk. He was a friend. I'd known him since he was 18. He was an absolute titan of courage and truth. He had a remarkable way of communicating and connecting with people, particularly young people. And as you said, he was not afraid to push alternate narratives or to ask the tough questions. That's really what Charlie did, I think. He asked questions and he let the answers fall where they may. If people left his microphone feeling silly or embarrassed, it's largely because Charlie was able to point out the fallacies or the flaws in their arguments. When it came to COVID, he was willing to again explore things that were not being said in the mainstream. He never shied away from something that may have been unpopular or may have really upset the apple cart when it came to the traditional narrative. And we've lost that voice. Hopefully, as you've heard from so many other people over these last days, that void will be filled now with a mighty throng of others. He awakened so many people, I think, in this country to what's been going on with our media, the loss of God and family, and the importance of returning that. It pains me terribly as I watch the abhorrent posts, people reveling in his death, the truly satanic or demonic nature of some people, a small, hopefully, faction of this country and of this world who take glee in the death or suffering from others. I think it's important that we point this out, that we don't simply ignore it, and that there is a social price to pay for that sort of behavior. We never meet violence with violence, but there has to be a social price to pay when you are acting in a way that is inconsistent with civil society.
Have we entered a new and dangerous era? Is left-wing violence against anyone who disagrees now just a function of our country and a reality, something we have to live with every day?
Well, unfortunately, I don't think it's going away anytime soon. I don't think of it as just, quote, left wing. I think, unfortunately, we have a portion of the population that is unstable, unhinged. I will address the elephant in the room. Look, we have a number of recent violent attacks, whether it's, the church shooting, the recent shooting in Colorado, over and over again, that are perpetrated by people who are not socially stable. There's a reason why, trans people are overrepresented in this group. There's no question that in the trans community, we have a disproportionate number of people who have been diagnosed with autism or autism spectrum disorder. These are people who are on the fringe already. They are not socially well adjusted. They are unhappy in their own bodies and where they are in society, and they take it out on others. And this is a real problem. Unfortunately, given the tsunami we are facing of autism in this country and the fact that rates are on the rise, the greatest number of people diagnosed with autism were born this year, meaning they are babies now. Okay, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, we are going to have a much larger group of people who fit into that diagnosis, and we're going to have to contend with that. So I think we aren't going to see a reversal of this anytime soon. The best thing we can do, as I said, is call out this behavior, absolutely refuse to accept it. The idea for too long, I think conservatives have, and I don't want to get into the religious connotation of, quote, turning the other cheek, but we cannot accept in civil society this type of behavior. We cannot normalize it. They call us these names, Nazi, fascist, Hitler, whatever it is. They don't kill you or strike out at you because they believe you are those things. They call you those things so that they can strike out at you to justify their actions. And we cannot allow that to happen. And it starts with our elected leaders, people in Congress, who have got to stop using those terms because it gins up these people who are not mentally stable. It gives them a justification for the violence that they then go on to perpetrate.
Yeah, you're so right, Dr. Victory. And I think that as we continue to go forward, we're going to see a lot more attention paid because studies are changing, science is changing, right?
Absolutely. And as I said, I am not, phobic of anything. I'm simply calling out the reality. We have seen the last, 6 or 8 shootings have been perpetrated by people in some way connected with the transgender, quote unquote, community. Yeah. We need to acknowledge that and figure out what that's about. As I said, I believe personally that it is related to the overrepresentation of autism and autism spectrum disorder in that group of people, and the fact that we are going to have to acknowledge the growing rates of that problem, deal with the mental health issue, at the same time that we double down on our commitment that we are not willing to accept this type of violent behavior. We are not willing to allow our streets to burn, businesses to be looted, police cars to be, turned over every time somebody is unhappy with something that occurs.
It's super important. And of course, we're not alluding that people with autism are automatically violent at all.
Correct.
But as those numbers increase and as the problems increase therein, thank goodness There's a new sheriff in town, right, in RFK, and he will be shedding some light on that and some studies that are more authentic than those in the past that have been all funded by guess who? Big Pharma. Dr. Victory, we appreciate you. Thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, coming up, North Carolina Republicans blame Democrats for woke policies they say contributed to the Charlotte light rail stabbing that left one woman dead, as you'll remember. Those details we're going to talk to you about just ahead as American Sunrise continues.